Hello everybody, it's Matthew, back with another rendition of the My Favorite LJN tournament. This is still round 3, and this is going to be the third battle, or third set of matchups for the third round. Now just kind of glancing over today's competition. You got some of the best figures, people that I actually thought were going to make it all the way towards the end, squaring off this round. And I am not happy about losing them, but I say the same thing every video. We got to cut it down to one single figure, and sometimes that means making the hard decisions and cutting out guys a lot earlier than you would hope. And so it's earlier today. I actually did make a couple videos. One of them was the my top 10 favorite Hasbro figures, and another one with the top 10 my least favorite Hasbro figures. So I am going to hold off on actually submitting those videos to YouTube. I'm going to wait till this entire LJN competition is complete prior to doing so. That way we can jump in from LJN to Hasbro, and I don't know, maybe Gloob if the UK figures do come in by the time I complete those or upload those videos. So the first matchup today is going to be one of the tougher ones, probably the toughest matchup, because it is two absolutely fantastic figures. So the first one is probably the greatest Series 6 LJN figure of all time, the Big Boss Man. I did leave the nightstick downstairs. I think I'm going to start leaving some of the accessories behind because they just got, they risk being damaged during transport from, the basement up here. So this right here, this is actually a kind of a mixture between both the, what I kind of refer to as the Hasbro chubby and Hasbro thin Big Boss Man. Doesn't quite have that big of a gut as in the Series 1 Boss Man, but definitely not as thin as his Series 3 counterpart. So, and of course, this figure came out, 89, I would say. So, obviously years before, either the 1990 or 1992 version of Hasbro. But, Hasbro is what I grew up on, so obviously I have more familiarity with those figures. Just a fantastic looking piece altogether. Kind of do like a little 360 for you guys here. Okay, awesome. And again, great fighting pose. He does have a perfect body slam pose, both right arm under and left arm under. And that obviously, is why he defeated Andre the Giant number 3 in the very first round. Why he continues to shine throughout the competition, making it here to round 3. Now, this time around, he does have possibly the most stiff competition. If Andre number 1, or Andre Blackheart number 3 wasn't stiff enough. This round, he does take on the Ultimate Warrior custom figure. So this Ultimate Warrior has, several meanings for me. One, he's got the Hulk Hogan body type, so he's got that perfect wrestling pose. So we remember back in the first video of round 1, Custom Hogan defeated original Hogan. Hogan made it to round 3, and he was eliminated by Big John Studd. So that took out Hogan. The next video, Greg Valentine took out Andre the Giant. So two of the possibly the best LJN figures of all time just got removed from competition in back-to-back videos here in round 3. So that does leave the Ultimate Warrior. Now, as a custom figure, there are certain things that kind of stand out to me, obviously. I mentioned the Hogan body type and pose, so it kind of keeps Hogan alive to an extent. The hair, it isn't quite Andre the Giant, but again, that's what it kind of reminded me of the first time I laid eyes on this. The detail to the boots, that just isn't just color to look like, it's leaning over the boots. It actually is little tassels or whatever that's supposed to be. That is just beautiful work. And of course, the look, face paint is amazing. Just the overall display of the figure is just absolutely remarkable. And like the Big Boss Man, he just has an absolutely fantastic, if not perfect, nope, let's call it what it is, perfect body slam pose. So when you are putting two absolutely extraordinary figures against each other, which way do you turn? Generally, I've been stating that I like originals far better than any customized figure. But in this competition, the customs have been absolutely destroying originals for the most part. And this competition, I think right here, is no different. Now, this boss man, because of the mint condition, right off the bat, it's not an original LJN. So this one was molded by the Random Treasures, and I still consider it to be an original because guys like Warlord, the Ultimate Warrior, Rick Rude, Boss Man, Haku, all of those Series 6 that are just too expensive to buy on eBay. Random Treasures, they mold a perfect replica, perfect rendition of the original LJN figures. So when I look at these, I don't call them customs. I don't. If anybody asks, I might say, yeah, but it's made by Random Treasures. But I generally refer to these specific type of LJN figures as LJN originals. And of course, anything not made by LJN that's specially designed by Random Treasures, like the Bushwhackers and Legion of Doom, for example, I consider those to be Random Treasure exclusives. Again, two beautiful pieces, one by Random Treasures, one by a Wrestling Writer on eBay. Tough call, but I've already gotten rid of Hogan, and because of the fighting pose, he still reminds me of Hogan. The Ultimate Warrior is, right behind Hogan as my all-time favorite wrestler, and this is just a beautiful piece. And if this Warrior could defeat the Big Boss Man, possibly the greatest LJN of all time, it just shows you how far I think this figure is going to go. Is he going to go all the way? I think there's probably 20% chance, just throwing out a number, that's the answer is yes. This is just a fantastic piece. Absolutely love it. Ultimate Warrior defeats the Big Boss Man. So I'm going to mark that down here for episode number 23. Warrior defeats Boss Man. All right. So that leaves the next battle. Another one I am not looking forward to. That's going to be another Random Treasures exclusive. This one is Barbarian. This is the Barbarian that LJN should have made back in '89, but whenever I don't know if LJN got sold or what happened, they ended up merging. A lot of these figures, like Bad News Brown, Barbarian, for example, I think Brother Love was on the back of the original Black Card series. So they never actually made a Barbarian. This is an LJN, or excuse me, this is a Random Treasures exclusive, and this one actually defeated the Warlord last round. Very similar look, makeup, fighting pose. This was just a fantastic figure. Absolutely love this one. But his competitor in this round, who has gone very far and is very possible could end up in round 4, is the Wrestling Writer, Mr. Perfect. Now this one is a resin, hard plastic. But, you take the resin out and just look at the Mr. Perfect face. That is a perfect Kurt Hennig representation. He has got an absolutely phenomenal fighting pose. Now, again, it's not something that you're going to give to your kids to play with. This is simply for display only. And, again, display-wise or play-wise, it doesn't matter to me. They're just something that I'm going to look at and admire, just to bring joy. And, again, the fighting pose, he's got this little one-arm toss-over that works beautifully. Either side, again, I mentioned the body slam. You can go left arm under, you can go right arm under. Again, he's going to give you that beautiful, if not perfect, body slam pose. You know, I love the orange color. I like the black singlet on the back. Kind of giving it a little mixture. You know, mixing with the knee pads. So initially, when I first looked at these off the shelf, I thought, you know what? There's a good chance Barbarian defeats Mr. Perfect. But just, again, a lot of the times, pretty much every time for the most part, I don't know who I'm going to choose until I actually sit in front of the computer, or, you know, earlier videos when I was doing it on my phone and actually start talking about it, just start looking at their fighting stance and whatnot. Do I actually know who at that moment that I'm choosing? And I thought Barbarian was going to run away. Well, not necessarily run away, but I thought he was going to win. And now kind of looking at him and, you know, mentioning the poses, I don't know anymore. Now I'm kind of leaning towards Mr. Perfect. Maybe try to choose a better figure. So Mr. Perfect, he doesn't have his legs spread apart to a point where he can be body slammed really well. Now, the Ultimate Warrior does have that better, you know, spread apart legs. So, and the Barbarian, he does have a really good body slam pose. But, again, the Mr. Perfect has the much better pose. So it all comes down to which one do I like with my figures better? Do I like rubber figures better, or do I like the fighting pose or body slam pose better? Two fantastic pieces. Before we started, Barbarian was going to be my answer. Making this video, I've decided to go with Mr. Perfect. And if we end up seeing Perfect versus Warrior in the next matchup, based on how, you know, the winners line up, that is going to be a great video, but it's also going to be a very difficult one. Mr. Perfect defeats Barbarian and is moving on to round 4. The next matchup is going to feature a couple of greats. Again, most of these customs you're going to either find from Wrestling Writer on eBay or from Random Treasures on Etsy. So we do have Kerry Von Erich. I don't know, Eric, I think is the correct pronunciation. To me, just Texas Tornado. I mean, that's how I know him as. That's how I always address him. Again, another resin figure. Hands out with like the Tio Santana look. That's what kind of distracts for the most part. For display, again, resin, so you're not going to play this guy ever. It's just simply a display. This one, I think my buddy Eric from Wrestling Writer, I think he's actually the one that designed this, and he did a phenomenal job. I mean, that is a fantastic look. Again, the colors are very simple, not too flashy, nothing that really detracts from the figure itself, and an amazing custom belt. I have two other belts, or one or two other belts I left downstairs. I didn't bring those back. They always fall off the arm, and that's the problem with this type of pose. This right here, if you've got a guy like this pose works better only because he has additional belts that, you know, like I said, slide off his arm because of the pose he's in. Now, the custom from Ram Treasures, I bought both the Islander and the King Haku versions from them. You know, same figure, just different paint job on the legs, on the pants. This is a great figure. Once I throw in the, you know, Continental belt, at least that's what I use. You know, anything that's not black or the brown for tag teams, any other color is basically my Continental Champion belt. This is a fantastic piece. Absolutely love it. Again, he defeated the original Islander Hakum in round 1. I think he took on Bad News Brown, if I'm not mistaken, in round 2 and became victorious. Not a fan of the arms being up the way they are. Just brought his arms down to here. This, you know, maybe like this or something. This would have been so much better. There's just so much more that could have been done with this figure. I mean, does he have a bad pose? He is rubber, so he can, stretch his arms out. And based on this look, not bad at all. So in the last matchup, I essentially took it boiled down to, do I like the rubber better or do I like the fighting pose better? And the fighting pose went out. Here you really, again, you can't do anything fighting wise with this figure. You can barely throw a clothesline or throw a punch. You kind of have to do this little sideways as opposed to throwing a punch, right side up. Two great figures. There is not a wrong answer. But I am going with the Texas Tornado for this battle. This time, the resin did win out. And Texas Tornado making a heck of a showing, making it all the way to round 4. So a very surprising contestant here in round 3 is Cactus Jack. Again, I know him best as Mick Foley or Mankind, more famous in my eyes as Mankind. This is just a great piece. Defeating Sting in the very first round, I mean, that was incredible. Great look. The color scheme is fantastic. And I love his t-shirt. That t-shirt is so awesome. So it says Wanted Dead. Can't really... Okay, it says Cactus Jack, and I can't really make out the small writing on the bottom, but it's kind of like a Wild West, one of those little pamphlets that they'd hang up, for, Wanted Dead or Alive type of deal. Beautiful figure. Absolutely love it. Making it to round 3. I didn't think this figure would go past round 1 as much as I enjoyed it. There were just too many good figures, and to make it 3 rounds, that's a heck of a run for this figure. But does it come to an end today? He is going against quite possibly the best LJN figure I own. We're not just talking customs, we're talking any LJN figure. And that is the Bruiser Brody custom. This is such a fantastic piece. And one I didn't really realize at first, again, is the Greg Valentine pose. And of course, when you go left arm under, you get that fantastic body slam pose. I mean, right arm under, not as great, of course, but I mean, he can drop that hammer, so to speak. You pin the arm, or pin the leg, fantastic. This is a great piece. I think right off the bat, we already knew. The second I brought this up to the camera, we pretty much knew it right off the bat already. Bruiser Brody was going to defeat Cactus Jack. But clearly, I don't want it to be as easy as that because, again, I don't want to take anything away from the Cactus Jack figure. This is an awesome piece. But, like I said, Bruiser Brody, if not the number 1 favorite, custom figure, he's at least top 2, top 3, top 4 maybe. And quite even possibly the best LJN figure altogether. This one does have rubber on the bottom, which is great. Chest and arms, they feel like they've been glued. I've noticed quite a few figures that are like that with these repaints and with the custom molds or, facial upgrades. This is just a fantastic figure. I absolutely love it. And I'm glad to see this one for one more round at least. Bruiser Brody defeats Cactus Jack. So the last matchup for this video is going to feature another really great figure, and that is Jimmy Garvin. Now, Jimmy Garvin is a very simple figure. I mentioned this before. I don't know if that's necessarily Hillbilly Jim's head ripped off and slapped onto a Brutus Beefcake body, or if they actually did a complete different mold, a remake of the head. But to me, it looks like Billy to Hillbilly Jim. but it's just a beautiful shade of pink. You know, it really pops. And I really think the color is, you know, if this was like all black, for example, or maybe all white, I don't think it would quite have the same effect, you know, on someone looking at this figure. You know, and then of course, you know, working out of, you know, Texas with the Texas Championship belt, I mean, this is just all around a great piece. Is he as good as Bruiser Brody, though? Because if this one does go forward, I think that might be the next matchup. If not, we'll see when we go through all the winners, of course. But again, can he make it that far? Why? He's going against possibly, I don't want to say one of the greatest LJN, at least not yet. This is definitely a character that I've admired for many years, and this accessory with the chain attachment makes it one of the best improvements as far as accessories go. Yeah, again, I really wish I had my Brutus Beefcake Megalomaniac Beefcake. Yeah, that would have been a nice addition. Of course, we would have had, I don't know, we may have had too many players the first time around if that were the case. But we definitely, when we ended round two, we wouldn't have had to do three people against each other, three wrestlers against each other. Now, I think the dog's name is Matilda, if I'm not mistaken. With a dog with Matilda attachment, beautiful chain again. The graphics of the pants. Bulldog. Love the hair, you know, little edges there. Again, I've mentioned it before. His face, it's kind of a, you know, cartoon look. It's not like a natural, I guess, 3D print version. And if anything, that may detract a little bit. But I mean, come on, this is a fantastic piece. This is absolutely gorgeous. Like, this is museum worthy quality, I think. And you know, his arms, obviously, it's not the best, you know, fighting pose wise. But then again, does Jimmy Garvin with Beefcake mold, does that really make him a great fighting pose either? I mean, to me, Brutus Beefcake is one of my least favorite figures to use. And for display pieces, truly amazing. Do I prefer one over the other? The color really pops here. I like the accessory. I love the colors overall. Yeah, this is the British Bulldog in all his glory. This is how I remember British Bulldog. I don't know anything about Jimmy Garvin. Don't have any history or knowledge about this character. Is there a wrong answer? Maybe. And I think I might be making the wrong choice. Jimmy Garvin does defeat the British Bulldog, and he is moving forward. Like I said, the figure just pops, and it's just a real pleasure. You know, as much as I love the British Bulldog, I think Jimmy Garvin, just by the skin of his teeth, was able to bypass the Bulldog just enough to move on to round 4. Alright, so with that completion of this video, just give you guys an update for expected next rounds. Let's see what we got here. Alright, so actually that was the that was the last one for round 3. Oh, guys, that's amazing. You know what? I might just keep going and do episode 24 for the next set. So, with that being said, based on episode 21 and 22, and of course the winners from here, episode 23, we're showing Big John Studd taking on Greg Valentine. It looks like King Kong Bundy is going to take on SD Jones. Freddie Blassie is going to face Bret Hart. Kamala is going to face Bam Bam. $1 Million Man is going to face the Honky Tonk Man. And that leaves Warrior is going to face Perfect. I didn't write down those last winners. All I wrote was Warrior versus Boss Man. Alright, so Warrior is going to face Perfect. And then let's see who Haku face. So it looks like Texas Tornado, Jimmy Garvin, and Bruiser Brody are all going to square off against each other. Now, that is not a fair competition because those are actually 3 figures that I did purchase from Wrestling Rider. 3 absolutely amazing figures, and very well possibly 3 of the best that I've ever customs that I've ever purchased. So, losing 2 amazing customs in just one battle, that's going to suck really bad, guys. I'm not looking forward to that. But I think I'm not going to stop. I think I'm going to make one more video. That way I can knock out that round as well. Alright, guys. I will see you all very soon. And goodbye for now.